welcome to Daily Dispatch powered by HSBC. I'm Priya Shade, and joining me on this very interesting conversation on India's gig economy and where it's headed, I have with me two very interesting panelists. I have with me Dheeraj, who's joining us from MyMobiForce, and we have with us Vineet, who's from COHIRE. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us today. I want to begin by talking a little bit about where the gig economy is headed, and what's been the kind of growth that we've been seeing in terms of demand for these gig workers. Let's begin with you, Dheeraj.
Priya, what my feeling is that I think in last probably a decade or so, a lot of sectors have transformed themselves through these marketplaces concepts, right? You take up taxi business, logistics business, food delivery business. There's a lot of transformation that has happened in this space. And I think India overall as a country is now getting very matured and ready with this gig concept. And I think COVID probably last 2-3 years has added to that, because there has been a significant change in the mindset, especially from a corporate perspective also. That earlier there were a lot of people who were doing moonlighting, they were looking for freelancing jobs. So overall, I would say the supply side was ready in advance, but the demand now is getting more and more mature because the corporates are also started thinking in that direction. And I think according to me now, gig has become a mainstream kind of a model. Earlier, it was more like a freelancing bits and pieces kind of opportunity. But now this is becoming more of a mainstream kind of a thing, which is entering into each and every industry vertical. So you pick up any sector, whether it is manufacturing, real estate, hospitality, service industry, a lot of sectors where gig is now becoming a mainstream kind of requirement. So overall, I think India definitely, as a sector, is booming. A lot of research reports says that it's going to be a $250 billion kind of a market opportunity in India itself. And there are 90 million jobs that's going to be created in gig sector. So the way I would say last decade, IT has kind of taken India to a global forum. Now gig is the kind of a hot piece where everybody's talking about it. Every corporate is thinking about it. They're transformed, they have been hiring, engaging with talent. So it's definitely going to stay, and it's going to be the mainstream now in India.
Right. Thanks for that, Dheeraj. Let's come to you, Vineet, to talk a little bit about, where you see this industry headed now. While Dheeraj did give us some numbers and allude to the kind of growth that the industry has been seeing and the potential that it really holds, I wanted to understand from your experience, which are the sectors where you're seeing demand being driven, and in 2022, where do you see this kind of demand, really springing from?
So first of all, thanks for letting us in this talk show from your story. So I first of all echo whatever Dheeraj just said. In the last couple of years, this is one of the very few industries, or what I could say the sunrise industry, where the demand and supply both is booming, and it is primarily because of the new age startups. I was reading a report yesterday that by 2025, India will have 250 plus unicorns. Now, if these unicorns, how do they become unicorns? And one of the reasons they reach to this stage is, a lot of contribution from the gig economy. So to answer your question, Priya, the sectors which are seeing a huge boom in the gig economy is hospitality sector, service sector, right? Because India has already been is touted as one of the IT capital of the country. Then now we are also being talked about as a pharmacy capital of the country, of the world, right? So as and when the manufacturing in India will grow and the startups ecosystem will evolve, the demand for gig, there is absolutely no way this demand will come down. So hospitality, service industry, when I say hospitality or food, QSRs, all this is taken care of. Healthcare, the next boom in the gig workers will come from the healthcare segment as well, because a lot of after Corona, this a lot of people have started demanding health services at home, right? So we'll see a lot of new startups coming in that space, right? This is one. From the domain specific, I see a lot of demand specifically coming from the product, marketing, sales, HR, and finance, right? I'm deliberately not taking the word IT because IT itself is a huge sector right now, and you know what's happening. But these are the 5 domains that I see going on. And I'm telling you this by my experience because we work only at a C level. So we don't work gig economy at a entry level or a mid level. So we only work at a C level. And in the past 1 year, I can say that huge demand from product and marketing side that we are getting. and you know these are the sectors is booming in these areas.
Right. Thanks for that, Vineet. Dheeraj, you have a huge chunk of blue collar workers as well on your portal. Tell us a little bit about what's the kind of growth that you've seen in the enrollments and the kind of people who are seeking jobs, the kind of jobs that are available. What's been your experience?
Priya, as Vineet said, right, service industry is one of the booming sectors, and MyMobiForce as an organization is primarily focused on to that. Where we see that now a lot of Make in India initiative, a lot of new OEMs, a lot of products are being created, IoT, 5G rollouts, connectivity, right? With all this happening, you would need lots and lots of gig workers, especially for on-demand field services. So that's the area where we have picked up. And on the other side, Skill India has been one of the initiatives which started by government, and NSDC has been driving that. So a lot of talent has been skilled in the country, but the challenge is there has been a shift in the mindset that neither people would like to go for a full-time job and nor corporates are willing to offer them full-time opportunity, right? So that creates a big void in between that. On one side, there is a demand of these skilled manpower to deliver services at home. As Vineet said, everything is going at home, right? So people would like from home appliances to router to switches to connectivity to installation of product to maintenance of product, right? Everything needs a technical workforce on the ground. So that is what has given a boost to us. And we are seeing both sides, as I said, right? One is supply was naturally created in last 7-8 years because India was getting matured with this model. And I think urban company, a lot of other models which has shaped up this service sector nicely, right? So there's a lot of supply which is already available and people are willing to take up these kind of gig opportunities. But the good thing is now even the largest of the brands post the last 2-3 years kind of an impact, they have changed their mindset, right? So they want to completely stay thin lean. Everybody wants to work more on a OPEX kind of a model rather than a CAPEX kind of a model. So there has been a significant change in the mindset. And what we call it as, as a transformation, because what we felt service industry started with an in-housing concept where everybody used to have people on their payroll. And then they started with the outsourcing concept. And now the new buzz is crowdsourcing, which is where it's a complete transformation and a mainstream service delivery model, which every organization is adopting. So good thing is both sides there is attraction. You pick up telecom, networking, home appliances, EV, solar, a lot of emerging technologies. All these need skilled manpower and a very, very hyper local presence of these people because of these, I would say, Blinkit and a couple of other delivery models which have set the expectations for 10-minute kind of a delivery, right? The consumer expectations have increased significantly. And the challenge is a lot of these corporates are not able to deliver that because they are not riding on marketplaces concept, right? So they were more working on a brick and mortar franchisee kind of a model. So now with this marketplace concept, brands are also quite, taking this as a mainstream thing, that how they can also create that 2 hours, 30-minute kind of a service experience by riding on this gig model. So that has given boost to both sides of the things. Yeah.
Right. Thanks for that. I want to come back to you, Vineet. You work with mostly C-level hires. Will you be looking at the other segment? Will you be looking at expanding across niche segments as well? When you look at blue collar, you look at other categories among the working class segment?
Yes, I mean, I'm sure my answer would not be appreciated by Dheeraj, but currently we are starting. See, when I started this concept, I wanted to take a top-down approach, right? Because that was a space which I thought was very empty. And Priya, just to let you know, I started this because of my own experience. When I was in the last corporate job in Tata Power, I used to get a lot of requests from people, can you please help me, right? Because I was managing, I'm a hardcore marketing brand communications professional, right? So I used to ask them these questions: why do you need my help? So they say that, Vineet, you know what? We are a growing company. We just seed funded or angel funded, right? We can't afford to have very senior people like you. And I don't have time to teach or mentor my team to perform, right? So that is a space I thought was, vacant, because any company would need a mix of young millennials, mix of in-house senior level, C-level guys, with 20 years experience, 25 years of experience. So I started doing this, and obviously, I would say, Corona virus has been a blessing in disguise for us, because companies have started to see it doesn't matter whether you're in the office or not. It doesn't matter which part of the country or world are you staying with. At the end of the day, what it matters is your business operations getting moved faster. And the companies have started to realize, when you come with experience, your number of experiments, the number of pivots that you try within the organization comes down. Because if you have senior people like us anywhere, in the organization, we can actually channelize that energy, a young energy into a right direction, right? And as we all know that most of the startups, once they get funding, they have a target to reach up to a certain scale very fast, right? So that is where I started off, right? And we've been continuing to do that, and we want to be pioneers in that field before we go down the thing. And yes, to let you know that sometimes the companies that we work with, they still say, Vineet, can you help us in getting a junior engineer or a mid-level guy? As of now, we have resisted doing it because, to be very frank, we need to build capabilities in-house. I mean, what Dheeraj has built the capabilities, we haven't built that capabilities. I have a pool of, like, say, 175 to 200 C-level guys, which are like ex-CEOs of the organization, VPs, directors of the organization. I don't have the talent put down, but yes, in future, if we feel that that's an opportunity and we get a big force, we may do it. But in the near future, we don't have that thing, because our unit economics works very well. In the last 4 years, none of our agreements or contracts have been at a negative, right? So I'm pretty happy that we're working on our unit economics.
Right. Dheeraj, I want to understand, what is the future for MyMobiForce? If you're looking at any key metrics, any key targets that you set for yourself, if you could share some numbers.
So, Priya, as we are speaking today, we have around 50,000 odd service professionals registered on our platform. And out of those 50,000, though all are not active, right? So slowly, gradually, we are trying to build a demand for everybody in the various locations that we have registered our partners with. So plan is, at least in next 2 years, we want to reach to 2 lakh active service professionals on our platform. That's on the supply side of the things. And on the demand side, we have already picked up 3 niche verticals, which is telecom, networking, and home appliances. And all 3 put together are in itself a huge, huge market, right? So these 3 verticals put together is a $30 billion market opportunity in India. And then we are also focusing on some of the upcoming verticals, like EV is picking up, solar is picking up. Now, EV being an emerging market, again, the challenge is when you look at home appliances segment, it's a very established kind of industry for last 30 years. Brands like LG, Sony, they have already kind of mastered the service experience. But when it comes to new product categories, the challenge is how do you build that kind of a service network very, very fast, right? So then platforms like us, which are readily available pan-India with a lot of electricians, skilled manpower, can be a big boost to these EV battery players, people who are manufacturing charging stations, maintenance of that. So we are keeping a very close eye on EV, solar, IoT as a future segment. Drones is also upcoming. But as of now, the focus is to stay, competitive in these 3 verticals where we have been a pioneer. We have created a niche, telecom, networking, home appliances, and in itself is a big market to tap, right? So future-wise, I would say next 1 year, the focus would be India. And we have also started getting some traction in global markets. I mean, one of our largest clients have asked us to replicate the success story that we have created in India in a couple of more countries. But we are still little, calculative about it, which countries we want to pick and choose and when do you want to do the global expansions on the card. So the plan is next 1 year, definitely grow ourselves horizontally in these 3 verticals, experiment on 2-3 emerging markets like EV, solar, IoT, drones. And target is to reach to 2 lakh active service professionals, say in next 2 years. When I say active, means people who are actually working on the ground, not just active on the platform. So yeah, these are some of the important KPIs, Priya, which we are trying to manage on our marketplace. So we call ourselves as an organized marketplace. The reason why we say organized is it's not just about bringing millions and millions of profiles on the platform. We want to make sure that anybody who comes in is also earning at least 20,000 to 30,000 monthly through our platform minimum, right? And that has been a forte for us, that we have picked up industry verticals where the demand is also continuous. It's not like once in a while kind of a requirement. Now, all these verticals, whether it is telecom, 5G rollout is going to happen, it's going to stay, right? Networking, connectivity is going to happen. Home appliances is always going to be a demand. So whenever we create a supply, we make sure that there is a continuity of demand for them. And that has been an important selection criteria for us while we are building MyMobiForce.
Right. Thanks for that, Dheeraj. Vineet, very quickly, key metrics that you're looking at? Some numbers that you can share?
Okay, so first of all, our average tenure of engagement with any company is eight months, which was 6 months about in 2021, because our model is basically on a fixed monthly compensation. We don't work on a per hour or a per day kind of a model. So that is one metrics that we have seen an increase. Secondly, we also want to encourage a lot of women professionals, because of late in the last 1 year, Priya, you'll be surprised, a lot of women people who have worked for 15, 20 years in corporate now said that, they want to have some time with the family and they want to have some time. But they they always fear that, sitting at home or not doing, suddenly out of job. So we are the best platform where you can take up assignments. You have a lot of time for yourself. So it's a perfect work-life balance and you still stay connected with the corporate world, right? So that is another thing that we have seen almost like more than 200% increase in the interest from the women professionals specifically, right? The third key metrics that we have seen, unfortunately, don't have industry numbers because we've tried hard. There's no industry benchmark or study that has been done only at a C level, because India, everything above, when you talk of C level, there's talk of consultants or advisors or mentors, whereas we are a bit shaped different. Why? Because we are not consultants. We take the ownership. Our experts will deliver exactly what the company would want to. So we have a pool of about 175, 200 experts across finance, technology, HR, product, digital marketing, sales, you name it, we have it, right? We have to maintain this pool. See, sometimes what happens, this pool comes down to 180, then it goes to 20, 180, right? So every month it keeps on coming and going. So we have to ensure that we have enough and more talent pool. We are able to give them meaningful assignments, meaningful work. Fourth thing is that this year definitely we have plans to go a bit international, because last year we had this one opportunity wherein a US IT company came and they wanted a WCAG expert. Now WCAG is a domain which is only applicable in US. It's not there in India. But we had a WCAG expert, by the way, and we could do it. So that was one success that we tasted. Till the last year, we never focused on the international market, but this year we have all the plans to focus on Southeast Asian markets, specifically where the time difference between India and those countries is not that high, whereas Europe and US may be a tough, because most of the experts are not very willing to wake up late in the night and work as compared to the younger people. So these are the four things that we are doing. But just to give you flat numbers, we have grown 200% as compared to, in the sense that last financial year will close 200% higher than the 2021 financial year in terms of revenue, in terms of number of assignments that we have got. I've already told about the increase in the time thing, but I think this is a new buzz which we are seeing. Not only from startups, but we are getting a lot of traction from family-owned companies where they find it tough to get professionals and SMEs, right? So,
right.
I mean, I wish we could have one more or two more competitors for us, because the market is huge, and currently I think we are the only ones getting it.
Right. All right, gentlemen. Thanks very much for all your wonderful insights on the gig economy and the future of where it's headed. Thanks so much for your time, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks.